Mm.
The thing with the whole metaverses thing is what will get it together, and what I think is going to happen in the future is it'll be kind of like on Ready Player Me, where there was like one mega company that owned the whole thing.
You mean
Okay.
Ready Player One is what you're talking about?
Ready Player One. I'm sorry. Ready
Yeah.
Player Me is the
Yeah.
Avatar
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
And well, there's actually a Ready Player 2 out there now too. But anyway, in Ready Player One, there was that one mega company that owned the whole thing, and large companies tend to go around sucking up little companies, sometimes actually using their technology, probably more often than not just destroying their technology, because they want their technology to be
Yeah.
a bigger thing. So I think that'll probably happen because that's the way capitalism works. And so you're going to see that. But I also think you're going to see a whole lot of kind of like Open Simulator. Open Simulator is actually already a metaverse.
Yeah.
With Hypergrid, that makes it a metaverse. And it's
Mhm.
actually a metaverse in the true definition of metaverse.
Mhm. Well, yeah,
so-
completely interconnected.
Right, completely interconnected. You can go anywhere, you can move anything from anywhere. You know, it's very much the definition of metaverse. And I think there maybe will become companies that will set up something so that you can sign into one master server, say, and go into that master server, and then you go into a bunch of other people's grids or virtual worlds or whatever you want to call them. But it will be, you'll keep certain aspects, maybe an avatar that looks like you, and some small amount of inventory to make that avatar. But I don't see right now them putting together a set of standards. The standards right now are all over the place. And going back to Ready Player Me is actually, in a way, helping the avatar standards, other than what Dieter's told me before, that they keep changing their standards. But, you know, if Ready Player Me settles on one thing and they get a good portion of the different various virtual worlds together, you're going to end up with a situation where your avatar will be able to go a lot of places. Not everywhere,
Yes.
but a lot of places.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Yes, but the point is, your not your avatar will go there, the representation of your avatar, but it will still mean you have currently 1,000 virtual worlds available where you can use your Ready Player Me avatar, but still everywhere or in each of these worlds you have a different identity.
That's where the issue comes in.
You just look the same, and I think the main problem currently is that the metaverse, as it's defined currently, it's just a goal without a plan, and we
Yeah.
all know goals without plan are dreams.
Well, actually, it's even further than that, because nobody has. I have not seen a cogent case for connecting everything. I would like to have some things interconnected, but I don't really care about having everything interconnected. Go ahead.
I was going to say a company that we haven't talked about yet that is trying this on a smaller scale with video games is Microsoft. Microsoft spent $68 billion this week to buy another very large company in video games, and what they're trying to do is to get all of the video games under their umbrella, and for everything to be on their service called Game Pass. And so the reason that I bring that up is that I believe we're going to get to a point. Microsoft is notorious for buying out these companies because the money doesn't matter to them. They have all the money in the world, and so they're just spending it. when they decide to jump into the metaverse aspect of things, they're going to be very similar to Google. They may have the ability to have everybody on one service and just go from place to place. But luckily for us, they have not decided to jump in yet, at least in a meaningful way.
Yeah, and Microsoft still has not near the number of, let's say, daily users like Facebook has.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
of course,
Microsoft isn't also
Facebook,
ran.
yeah.
Yeah.
well, actually, but now Facebook. See, Microsoft, that particular aspect of use on Microsoft is it only aims at gamers, and people who are not gamers, not interested in gaming, will never go there. The advantage that Facebook has is you can go to Facebook for a number of different reasons because you want to be a part of some community, and Facebook has lots of communities. And I go to Facebook sort of indirectly, but I basically go to promote, but I also follow several virtual world communities, several metaverse communities, and I promote to them, but I also read their posts. And the reason I go is that I'm interested in the communities, not because I care about anything about Facebook. Let's we've been discussing this for quite a while. Let's just see if we can summarize our conclusions that we have been drawing about this. And I take it we've already decided that there will not be one metaverse. But there could be, well, actually, there might be a large number of metaverses that and we wouldn't dispute that. But there might be only a small number of major metaverses, and the rest of them might be so small it would be incidental.
Yeah,
And
but it will need really a set of standards regarding protocols and everything to help islands converge into continents.
yes, yes. Well, actually, we identified several issues that would have to be dealt with that were not really technical issues, but for example, the countries will have different rules, and so in fact, some countries will demand a lot more privacy than others, and companies may very well be limited to the countries that to a certain set of countries that fit their business model. Facebook, perhaps, or the equivalent of the 3D world equivalent of Facebook, if it's using its current business model, perhaps could not operate in Europe, but it can operate in the U.S. and perhaps in some other places. Well, I expect in a lot of places. And that would be one reason for a fragmented metaverse. Another reason for fragmented metaverse.
There are no real obstacles in Europe. The point is, as long as Facebook is transparent and says, okay, we are taking all your data, and people agree with it, then everything is fine. Because else, even today, Facebook would be illegal. But as long as people agree to have their data taken
No,
and stored in the US, then everything is fine.
no, I see. So that would be
Also,
the case.
you can also take a hammer and smash it on your head. It's not forbidden, but I wouldn't suggest it.
Yeah. Um, well, but at any rate, we see some differences in perhaps arising from that separation. Islands may be formed essentially to comply with the government regulations. Um, and then we also noted that the islands might develop to suit the interests of particular communities. And for example, now I'm certainly consider myself in the educational community. Um, I know that a number of educators will not be comfortable in the same community or the same island, metaverse island, as pornography for obvious reasons. And that would certainly apply especially to the K-12 groups. So that would also might very well preclude a complete connection among the metaverse islands. Right now, we're talking about the possible interconnection of the metaverse islands because that's what exists now, and that if there's ever going to be a single metaverse, it would grow by interconnecting the existing and newly developed islands, right?
You're right.
One thing that I want to bring up that I just thought about that we have not thought about as metaverse people, in that the internet is the thing that's going to connect all of these islands regardless of where they are. The internet and the use of it is what connects these islands. So technically, if you want to talk about what is the metaverse is using the internet to connect all of these different islands that are going to pop up.
Yeah, well, actually, you're right, and of course, that's what we have had for a long time, and that is the internet has been connecting. And of course, we're talking about a continuation of the internet because all of the metaverses would actually be still operating on the internet, despite the claim that the metaverse would replace the internet. But at any rate, the connection, the islands, the islands that we're talking about. We've noted that there could be connection essentially and there already exists some degree of connection, not only, especially considerable, pretty much complete connection in the open simulator, and to some extent, there might. I know that people who are thinking about web worlds, that is, virtual worlds that run on the browser, because those worlds do use somewhat similar technology. It's not close to being identical. It's not going to work together, but at least it is similar. So those places, web worlds, are also places where we might look to interconnection.
Yeah, so the thing is, if you would have something like a universal identity provider, if it's Google or something else, then it would also already be possible. Because, like we said, the technology already is the same, but still you use different accounts, different identities, and that's the main problem.
So a lot of connection could be achieved if some company, such as Google, became essentially a hub that managed identity, and as Google already does, only with improved capabilities.
So, for example, if Ready Player Me would cooperate with Google and say, okay, now you can attach your Ready Player Me avatar with your Google account, and if a virtual world supports this type of account, then you would have at least interoperability on an identity level.
Which means, of course,
because then you could switch from CybaLOUNGE to 3D Web Worlds. You use a single sign-on on your Google account, and when I teleport there, then 3D Web Worlds will see, oh, it's Dieter, and this is his avatar. Welcome.
Yes. And well, so that would be essentially, well, and in fact, that would not require interoperability in general, but it would require some interoperability in the form of avatars, because I'm only taking my avatar.
I think this is maybe not everything, but I think this is the first and my eyes the most important step to keep your identity over different worlds.
Yeah. Oh, and there's one other thing that I think we would want to add to that. If Google is going to we're going to do this, I would want it also to provide intercommunication, which it can do without any technical problems, intercommunication among people in the multiple universe, metaverses.
Yeah, that would be a consequence, but like you said, in text chat it would be very, very simple. In voice chat a little bit more difficult, but text chat would be a no-brainer because it's like it's everything in Google Suite or so is already there.